Students, it's your chemistry class. We have already discussed about second chapter, that is acid, bases and salt. Today I shall take up salt topic, and this is the last topic of this chapter. Now salt. Topic is salt. Salts, there are numbers of salts which is used in our daily life. And how the salt is formed? What is salt? Salt is produced by the neutralization reaction between acid and salt. Now write salt. Salt is produced by neutralization reaction between acids and base. Now acid plus base, salt plus water, and this is called neutralization reaction. Now what is salt? Salt is produced by neutralization reaction between acids and base. Acid plus base forms salt and water, and this whole reaction is called neutralization reaction. Salt is an ionic compound. Salt is an ionic compound. It consists positive ion called cation and negative ion called anions. For example, sodium chloride, copper sulfate. Now here you see, salt is an ionic compound. It contains positive ion called cations and negative ion called anions. For example, sodium chloride and copper sulfate. Now it is clear? Now copy down. Shall I rub? Now remember the first point. When a strong acid react with strong base and they form salt plus water, and this salt is neutral and the pH value is 7. Now when the strong acid and the strong base react and they form salt, and this type of salt is neutral in nature. and the pH value will be 7 because water is neutral, the pH is 7. Now the second, when a strong acid react with weak base, form salt plus water, and this salt is acidic in nature. Acidic in nature. The pH value is less than 7. Now the second is the strong acid. When the strong acid reacts with the weak base and they form salt and water, and this type of salt is acidic in nature and the pH is less than 7 because the strong acid, and here you see the strong acid and the strong base, that is neutral salt, and here it is the strong acid and the weak base, that is acidic in nature. Now the third is when a strong base react with weak acid, form salt plus water, and this salt is basic in nature. Basic in nature, that is pH is more than 7. Now here you see the strong base. When the strong base react with the weak acid, it forms salt and water, and this salt, the nature of this salt is basic in nature and the pH is more than 7. Now you see the 3 different types of salt which is obtained by the reaction of the strong acid, the strong base, strong acid and the weak base, strong base and the weak acid. And the nature of this salt is, first is the neutral, and the second is acidic in nature when the strong acid react, and the third one is the basic in nature when the strong base react with the weak acid. Now it is clear, and this is very important. Learn this by heart. In the board examination question may ask. Shall I rub? Now write this some important formula and the chemical name and the of this salt, common name, chemical name and the formula. Make a chart. And it is very important. First we will learn the chemical common name. Chemical name. And the formula. Formula. Now the first is common salt. That is sodium chloride. Formula is NaCl. Second is bleaching powder. Calcium oxychloride, and the formula is CaOCl2. Third, baking soda. sodium, hydrogen, carbonate, or sodium bicarbonate, that is NaHCO3. Fourth is washing soda. Washing soda, decahydrated sodium carbonate, sodium carbonate, that is Na2CO3 10H2O. Now it is clear. If it is not clear, shall I now wait? Three 10 H2O. Decahydrated. Why it is called decahydrated? Because this compound containing 10 molecules of water, and this type of compound is known as hydrated compound, and they don't have any water molecules, and this type of compound is known as anhydrous compound. Anhydrous compound and hydrated compound. Now the fifth one, now I have written fifth one, plaster of Paris. Or POP, that is hemihydrated calcium sulfate. CaSO4 half H2O. And plaster of Paris or POP, this is hemihydrated, that is calcium sulfate. Calcium sulfate CaSO4 half H2O, half molecule of water. Now the sixth one is gypsum. Gypsum, dihydrated calcium sulfate, that is CaSO4 2H2O. This is also a hydrated compound. Seventh one, slaked lime. calcium hydroxide. CaOH whole twice. Now the slaked lime is calcium hydroxide. The formula is CaOH whole twice. Now the eighth one is quicklime. That is calcium oxide. Formula is CaO. Ninth one is caustic potash. Caustic potash, caustic soda, right? Caustic soda. Caustic soda, that is sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide, that is NaOH. Now caustic soda, sodium hydroxide, and NaOH. Now these are the very important salt which is used in our daily life, and learn this salt by heart along with the common name, chemical name, and the formula. In the examination they may ask, like the POP, write the chemical name and the formula of plaster of Paris. If it is given calcium sulfate half H2O, write the chemical name and the common name of this compound. Then you have to learn by heart, and without learn you can't write the name, common name, and the chemical name and the formula of the salt. Now have you written? Now the salt is produced by the evaporation method of seawater. When the seawater is evaporated in a shallow tank, and it contains numbers of salt which is dissolved in the seawater, most of which is sodium chloride. When the sodium chloride is purified by removing the impurities which is present in the seawater, that is magnesium carbonate, calcium carbonate, magnesium chloride, magnesium carbonate, and the magnesium sulfate, all these impurities are present in the seawater and dissolve in it. And when we remove these impurities by using the several method, then before it is sold in the market. Now when this salt is treated with the iodine, and that salt is called iodized salt, and the iodized salt is protect us from the thyroid disorders. And the common salt we use in our daily diet in our food. Now it is clear. And the salt, and the salt is very important, and the salt is also used as a raw material for the preparation of the baking soda, which we have discussed just now. Baking soda and the washing soda and the baking powder, all these salts are produced by the salt, and that salt is used as a raw material. Now the one is the chloroalkali process. First, aqueous solution. Aqueous solution is called brine solution. Remember it. Sometimes the question may be asked, what is brine solution? Then you have to write. Then the aqueous solution of salt. Sorry, aqueous solution of salt is called brine solution. The question may be asked, what is brine solution? Means aqueous solution of salt is called brine solution. When in the brine solution electric current is passed, electric current is passed in brine solution, it decomposes into chlorine gas, hydrogen gas, and produce sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide as a product. Now it is clear. Now when the aqueous solution of salt is called brine solution, when the electric current is passed in brine solution, it decomposes into chlorine gas, hydrogen gas, and produce sodium hydroxide as a product. And the chlorine gas is given off at anode, hydrogen gas is at cathode, and the sodium hydroxide is produced near cathode. And this whole process, this process is called, it is very, very important, chloro-alkali process. Now, have you written? Now here it is. I am starting from the first, that when the electric current passes in brine solution, it decomposes into chlorine gas, hydrogen gas, and produce sodium hydroxide as a product. Now the chlorine gas is given off at anode, and the hydrogen gas is at cathode, and the sodium hydroxide is produced nearby cathode, and this process is called chloro-alkali process. Now the chloro stands for the chlorine and the alkali stands for the sodium hydroxide, and that is why it is known as chloro-alkali process, and it is very, very important. It is very, very important. The question in the board examination, they asked what is chloro-alkali process, and at that time you have to explain what is chloro-alkali process. Shall I wrap? Now write, chloro stand for chlorine, alkali stand for sodium hydroxide. So it is called chloro-alkali process. Now, here it is the brine solution. And all of you know. And here this is your cathode, hydrogen gas, Here it is a chlorine anode, it is a sodium hydroxide. In the brine solution, when electric current passed, it decomposes into Cl2, H2 and NaOH. Now the reaction, now it is clear. Now here it is when the chloro stand for chlorine and the alkali stand for sodium hydroxide. So it is called chloro-alkali process. Now with the help of experiment, the brine solution means the aqueous solution of salt. In the brine solution, when electric current is passed, it decomposes into hydrogen gas, chlorine gas, and this sodium hydroxide is in the form of liquid. Now the hydrogen gas is at cathode and the chlorine gas is given off anode, and the sodium hydroxide liquid is obtained nearby the cathode. This whole process is known as chloro-alkali process. Now the reaction, right? NaCl plus H2O, chlorine gas plus hydrogen gas plus NaOH liquid. This is the balance equation. Now it is clear. The sodium chloride plus water, and this is the brine solution. Brine solution, and the electric, here the electric current passed. It decomposes into chlorine gas, hydrogen, and the sodium hydroxide. Now here we get three products. Two products in the form of gas and one product is in the form of liquid. And here you see the uses of hydrogen. And the hydrogen is used in the manufacture of ammonia. Hydrogen is used in the manufacture of fertilizer. And the liquid hydrogen, when it is mixed with the liquid oxygen, it is used as a rocket propellant. Rocket propellant means rocket fuel. And the chlorine is also used as a germicide. Germicide means to kill the germs. And the chlorine is also treated to purify the water, that is called chlorination method. And the chlorine is also used to preparation of the chloroform and the PVC and the bleaching powder. All these are uses of the chlorine. And the sodium hydroxide is used in the manufacture of soap, detergent, and it is also used in the paper industries. And the sodium hydroxide is also used in the purification of the petroleum. All these are uses. So you think how much salt is very, very essential salt, and which is used in our daily diet in food. Now the next topic I will take you, that which we have discussed the formulas, and the first will be the bleaching powder, preparation and the uses and the properties of this salt. Now that's all for today. Okay.